Hey guys, I want to explain this symbolism here, the brain split in half, the thunderbolt coming down, the dragon beside it, uh, and show you how the theme of this video is talking about the birthing of the Antichrist and how they are alleging that that ties into the Revelation 12 sign, the woman with the 12 stars above her head, clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, travailing in birth. She gives birth to a man child. The dragon waits to devour the child. Uh, and I'm going to show you how that explains this symbolism here. Now, a lot of people believe that that was an actual sign that occurred last September, on September 23rd, and that's not my take on it. Now I'm researching it. I'm talking to brothers who are a different opinion than me, uh, and I don't mean to offend, but I don't believe that that is what it's talking about. I believe, in Genesis 37, it shows the sun, the moon, the stars, and equates that to Israel. It has nothing to do with constellations there, and I believe that's what it's talking about. However, let's just stick to this. I don't want to bore your patience. All right, now what we have here is a thunderbolt coming down, splitting the brain in half. Now, according to the 923 sign, alleged sign that occurred September 23rd, 2017, which was a little over 9 months ago now. And we're talking about the birthing of the Antichrist. And mind you, in September as well, they have the ability to manipulate hurricanes. There was a hurricane that went off the East Coast, two hurricanes that went off the East Coast. One was named Hurricane Jose, which is Spanish for Joseph. One was named Hurricane Maria, Spanish for Mary. So Mary and Joseph going off the East Coast. And now, what do you see back in the picture here? Now you see Hurricane or Typhoon Maria back in the picture, and you also see Hurricane Chris. Typhoon Maria is going on over there in China right now, big story, and now Hurricane Chris off the East Coast as we speak. And if you just do, if you, I was trying to look up the etymology of the name Chris, but it kept bringing me to Christopher. Now we know Chris is used as a short form of Christopher. But even here, you can look up Christopher, and it's from Christophoros, which means Christ bearer. And Christopher is from two words, Christo and Phoros. And so the first word is Christ. The Chris part means Christ, and the Ophir means a bearer. Okay, so it's two words. So the Chris part, or the Christo, or the Christ part, means Christ. And so this is literally uh, Hurricane Chris, when you understand the etymology of it, is basically saying Hurricane Christ. Now, this, and I showed yesterday, if you haven't seen that video, how I said alert, pet goat 2 has been pointing to July all along. Gotta watch that. But now, as we speak, this hurricane, and I use this in big, bold quotation marks, Hurricane Christ, end quote, is off the East Coast, the same area where Mary and Joseph were. Now, at this same time, Typhoon Mary is in the scene as well. What are the odds of that? Now, we got to start understanding the times we're in, because we are in some epic times here. And when you understand their interpretation of the things that occurred in September and how they tied into this Pet Goat 2 scene, which deals with the coming out of the Antichrist, the birthing of the Antichrist, the coming out of the Antichrist, etc. Now we begin to see this right here. Okay, and now we're going to explain this. The thunderbolt. See the thunderbolt coming down. The thunderbolt, if you just go to Wikipedia and look up thunderbolt, a thunderbolt or lightning bolt is a symbolic representation of lightning when accompanied by a loud thunderclap. Check this out. In ancient Hellenic and Roman religious traditions, the thunderbolt represents Zeus or Jupiter. Now, what was it that was allegedly birthed out of the constellation known as Virgo in September? It was Jupiter. They say Jupiter, went around in the center of Virgo and then was birthed out. Actually, was birthed out September 9th, and the stars and stuff did not align, as they say, to fulfill that sign until later in September. But I guess in a rough way, they're saying that around the same time, it occurred. But strictly speaking, Jupiter left Virgo before that. But the sign, the alleged sign, relates to Jupiter, and the thunderbolt relates to Jupiter. And so Jupiter here, the sign for Jupiter, the dragon waiting to devour Jupiter, the thing that was born. So why the brain? Why the brain split in half? This makes sense when you understand that the egg here has a baby in it. Okay, there's a baby inside of this egg waiting to be born, and this screen face, which Heliofont itself names Draco on their website. Now, Draco is the dragon constellation. That's what they call it, Draco. It's Latin for dragon. And so they have the dragon here, and they have another picture on their website where they show this scene and they say prey, P-R-E-Y, P-R-E-Y, waiting to devour, to make it its prey, waiting to eat it. And so he's waiting to eat that which is going to be born, i.e. Jupiter. This is the dragon waiting to eat what is born, and that is ties into the Jupiter sign here, okay, because that is what it's waiting to devour, is where Jupiter is. So why the brain? Well, that ties into the fact that this egg is the same as egghead. Okay, you see the lines on it with the lines dripping down. And the next time you see the egg, it is in this form of egghead with the egg busted open, and the Draco figure comes behind it, looking inside of it like it's about to eat what's inside of its head. That's what's going on there. He's looking inside of its head. He's about to try to eat it. But then the bombing of the mosque occurs. The boy inside the mosque is killed, is how this video portrays it. And he's snatched up to heaven, out of the grasp of the dragon. And then when it shows the dragon again, he's leaving the egghead boy. And the reason why he leaves is because the baby that was inside of the egg is no longer there. See, this is when he's leaving. Draco, the dragon, is leaving the boy, the egghead, the egg where the baby was inside of, and it's showing the inside of the egg for the first time that it's empty. And it even has the snow swirling around like this is empty, emphasizing that hollow head. So the baby's gone, the dragon leaves. So the baby was not there for the dragon. Dragon lost interest or left because he was afraid, whatever. He's going to do something else. That's what they're saying here. So the egg head, the baby was inside of the egg. The egg is presented as a head. Now, what is normally inside of a head is a brain. Okay, so the baby inside of the head, brain inside of the head, that's what you have here. Okay, that's what you have here in this scene, the brain inside the head. So picture egghead here with his head busted open, the dragon waiting to eat what's inside of his head, figured here as a brain, presented as a brain, with Jupiter going down the middle, showing Jupiter is involved in this as well. So Jupiter, brain, the baby inside the egghead, the dragon waiting to devour Jupiter. That all ties into the Revelation 12 alleged fulfillment, going back to September. Now, and I say again, what are the odds Hurricane Mary and Joseph appear off the East Coast, and then now, a little bit after 9 months later, it's after 9 months, uh, now you have Typhoon Mary, Typhoon Maria, which is Spanish for Mary, at the same time that you have Hurricane quote unquote Christ off the East Coast where Mary and Joseph uh, met. Ladies and gentlemen, at some point in time, we got to start seeing. It's hard, it's surreal, but this is it. I mean, this is the times prophesied in the Bible are playing out before us. And I put out the video yesterday showing that Petco's been referring to July all along. Now, I've got a lot of stuff wrong, man, but God knows, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, that I've been sincere. Now, I've not asked for money from you. I'm not trying to make money off you guys. I've enjoyed your fellowship, and you guys have been there for me in times when I was low, and I mean it, and I care about you guys, and I appreciate you, and this has been a group effort. But here we have a confirmation. I mean, this says it all right here. They're saying the Revelation 12 sign, and the same month. And this is a calendar, 2017 calendar. In between September and October, you have the woman who is, you know, clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, because this is an eclipse, with the 12 figures or quote unquote 12 stars around her head, giving birth. And she's right after the September figure. So they're showing you the September 23rd alleged sign here. And now this does not mean that those brothers and sisters in Christ who say that is the sign are promoting antichrist doctrine, because I've been talking to a brother and he says, the devil just corrupts the things of God and tries to imitate, and I get it. Okay, but regardless if we agree or not on whether it was the actual sign, the fact of the matter is that we would all agree upon, I believe, if we have eyes to see, is that that is how they are interpreting the September event. And that's how they're presenting it. That Jupiter, the thunderbolt, is birthed out of the egg, the dragon waiting to devour. The times are upon us. The times are upon us. Be strong in the Lord. Remember His faithfulness. And we came into situations before where we did not see a way out. Man, we were like, man, I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm done. This is the end for me. There's no way out of the situation. And if we maintain our integrity and did not give in, God always made a way. It's going to be like that. Believe in God. Don't give in, even unto death. And I'm telling you, when you rise up from that grave, it's a wrap. You talk about the ultimate retirement, because this is our time of labor. Jesus said, work while it's day, because night's coming when no man can labor. And I'm pleading with you, those of you especially who are overseas, if America falls, please get my books. I intentionally sought out publishers that would continue publishing my books, making them available on demand overseas, and I put them on Amazon so they appear on Amazon sites overseas. Please get my books. reproduce them, reproduce them freely, share. I'm not in this for the money because one day we all have to give an account to the Lord. And if you will help me share truth that God knows He helped me to produce in those book forms, and it would be both to your profit and to my profit when we stand before the Lord. So let's work together. Like I said, you can reproduce it freely. Don't worry about giving me no money. I'm not in it for that. I don't monetize my videos, etc. I want to be pleasing to the Lord because you can see I did not make this video. I'm not an insider. I'm not a Mason. I've never did anything of the sort. Okay. I'm a truck driver. I'm a high school dropout. I'm somebody that the Lord saved, delivered, and took something that was of no consequence in this world, someone who was despised, and used me to write books, and now is using me to uncover the things in this video. And it's to His glory, and I ain't nothing. And I'm not saying that out of some pseudo humility. I literally understand that for me to be pride is just straight up deception. Because whenever I start to get away from God and start leaning on my own ability, you talk about a screw up. You guys don't know Jason. You know the Jason that is hidden behind the Holy Spirit working in me. But Jason, me, without Christ, you talk about, and I don't mean somebody that's cool, that's, oh man, he's a thug, he's cool. I mean somebody that's a piece of crap, that is not cool, that's despised by everybody and for good reason. But God found me when nobody wanted me, because as scrappy as I was, man, I was broken. And He found me. And I owe Him everything. Now, I'm not better than anybody. And in these last days, let's all surrender to His work and work while it's day. Get my books, please. Test everything. Hold on to that which is good. Fight for the truth. Stand up and be counted. In the book of Revelation, chapter 12, after the, alleged sign, we know that there is a war in heaven, and the devil and his angels were cast out. And it says, they overcame him by the word of their testimony, and because they did not love their life unto death, and by the blood of the Lamb. By the blood of the Lamb, by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their life unto death. And that's what we have to arm ourselves with, is the mind of Christ, who denied Himself, said, Father, take this cup from me. I don't want to go through this. But He went anyway. They said, run, Herod's going to kill you. Don't come to Jerusalem. And He walked right up in there. Don't hide in a corner, brothers and sisters. Stand up and be counted. Use wisdom, but make a difference. Because the devil, the Illuminati, they are not the only power at work here. And as much as they are in our face, they are not the only power at work here. And greater is He that is in you than he's in the world. And don't you doubt that. They can kill your body, but they can't touch your soul. And that's what matters. We have the victory. They can't do nothing to you. Jesus said, not a hair on your head will perish. Come on now. What do you got to lose? Hey, Make your life count. I'll leave the link for my books down below. Priced them as low as I possibly could.